This one's wife. The people have spoken. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. Yesterday, a video was released on Bloomberg Originals. It was an interview between Emily Chang of The Circuit and this one's wife. This one's wife was auditioning for the part of Big Bird with a yellow ensemble and also attempting to look relatable by having a beer and a smash burger at some restaurant. I've analysed the main parts of that interview separately to demonstrate that it was full of lies, bullshit, and emptiness. I encourage you to watch that to understand more about her narcissism. The video was released at 4 a.m. Eastern Time and therefore seemed to be more in line with wanting to catch the European market than that of the United States. Initially, it wasn't getting particularly many views. After about 3 or 4 hours, it had only garnered somewhere in the region of 7,000 views and a couple of hundred comments. But more people became aware of its existence. Interestingly, as I mentioned, after a few hours, there are a few thousand views, a couple of hundred comments, and a perusal of those comments demonstrated that largely they were supportive. It was almost as if certain individuals had been told about the video beforehand to ensure that they provided favourable coverage, that they commented about what a lovely interview it was and how resilient this one's wife is. In fairness, if you were to watch the interview, you would just be left scratching your head thinking, did she really answer any questions? What language is she speaking? I recognise it as English, but I don't really understand anything that she's talking about because it's a massive word salad. There's plenty of the mentioning joy and showing up for and organic and the ridiculous anchor in my knowing or whatever it was. But many of the comments were favourable. But all of a sudden, the grassroots of criticism started to appear. As you know, this one's wife is largely regarded as irrelevant or disliked, with a small band of supporters. But the vast majority of people have no interest in her or dislike her. And it was shown to be the case when the trailer for part 2 of season 1 dropped. It soon turned into an absolute massacre as comment after comment slated her. When the video On Life and Business Beyond the Royal Spotlight with Bloomberg Originals appeared, might that trend have been reversed and that it was largely favourable? Well, no, for the people have spoken. And in the intervening time period of 24 hours, there's now been some 102,000 views of the interview, though one wonders just how long people have persisted with it because it is hard work, and 2,300 comments. I'd be interested to know what Emily Chang really thought of this one's wife. I'm not familiar with her work. She posed sensible questions and was perfectly polite. But if she's got any modicum of intelligence, and I suspect that she has, she must have been thinking to herself, this is a vacuous assignment. She talks utter drivel. And she wouldn't be wrong, for the people have spoken. And it's worth diving into many of these comments, not only to give you a flavour as to what people are saying about this one's wife, but also the extent of these comments by reference to number, exhibiting just how many people dislike this one's wife, see through her, and call out her hypocrisies and lies. An initial one states, brave of them to keep the comments on. The comment section is the entertaining part everyone shows up for. It's so funny how she's like, oh, I had to wear pantyhose, and that's so not like me. But she's literally been an actor her whole life when she's worn costumes. Being a royal is a role, and you play the part while keeping authentic. She just couldn't do it, and now she can dress how she likes, but she's still playing a role. Entertainingly, Lessie, 2006, identifies the This One's Wife bingo card and does so most accurately. Mentions the soap dish commercial story, mentions her first job at a yogurt shop, mentions the fact that she is the mother of 2 and says their ages, mentions the words joy or authentic, mentions school pick-up or drop-off, mentions her husband, mentions that she doesn't pay attention to anything the media says about her. She rapidly blinks her eyes, she touches her nose. Tick, 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 tick. Another writes, some women have had to deal with poverty, violence and abuse. This One's Wife had the toughest battle of all. Pantyhose. What a warrior. Bloomberg didn't need a face-to-face. Just replay any of This One's Wife's old interviews podcasts. Same old, same old. Ask her, where is Sussex? Did This One's Wife's PR team write the questions and script for this interview? It seems more like some PR puff piece than an independently created interview. Morgan Tomshaw writes, I wrote the same letter to Procter & Gamble in 6th grade. So ridiculous of her to take credit for a nationwide project. Duchess of Dunceness. This One's Wife doesn't seem like someone who is comfortable in her own skin. Judging from this interview, she is someone who is only comfortable when she knows all of the questions that will be asked so she can prepare the answers ahead of time. Someone who is comfortable in their own skin doesn't need to have complete control of the narrative. They can adapt to what comes along because they are confident in who they are. Flock of Regals, great name. I'm a real person. I want people to see the real me, said the most unreal person ever. Brucey Rules. 1 minute, she says, I don't see negative comments, and the next she's practically quoting them and clapping back. Nellie Castro. She said she had to order 1 million. I tried to order 70 jars of jam, and her Shopify said she only had 50. Michelle C. Thousands across the country wrote letters to Procter & Gamble months before the commercial in 1993, which is odd since This One's Wife was born in August 1981, making her 12. In no way did she and her class's letters get the commercial changed the next month, as they take time to go through the process and through legal. Furthermore, the LA riots were in 1992. Whoopsie. Ogogo Kaminda. This woman is insufferable. So YouTube channels which criticise her are trying to pay their bills. So why is she on Netflix and Instagram? Isn't she trying to pay bills too? What about your family and your husband's family? Asked Maria Lombard. Your kids do not know them. Erica Freedom. How is This One's Wife going to be mad at a former classmate making a joke about women being in the kitchen? For This One's Wife to later make a show where, you guessed it, she's in the kitchen. Loire 5728. I couldn't even do 10 minutes. She is unbearable. Still going on about that dishwashing commercial. Francine Allen. Excuse me. She hasn't said anything since 2016. Did I hear that right? So the 2020 Oprah interview was what? Dane Madison. So fake in the dish soap story again. Many people have said this story is not true. Hasn't done anything since. I watched it to see how many untruths she tells. Always complaining about the royal family. Why did she take the title and work in the royal family if it wasn't authentically her? Yogi Libra. It's not an interview. Do it with a real journalist. Here it is again. She's saying the same thing because you must believe her. For me, it is too fake. Askry, another scripted PR puff piece to counter all the valid criticism that This One's Wife does read and pretends not to. Livy DeVette, wow, Bloomberg scraping the bottom of the barrel interviewing someone who has failed at every business, charity, industry venture she's tried. She's a masterclass of what not to do. And it's entertaining because it goes on and on and on. The Authentic Thrift. She took the interviewer to a bookstore and couldn't name one book she's read. Excellent point. Louise Allard. She found a way to bring the dish soap story up again. Summer Alford. I'm wondering, she constantly acts like her voice was repressed. However, she has used her newly accessible voice for anything other than complaining about the institution that gave her the platform. Luzon, this is the most sticky puff piece ever done. Hopefully Bloomberg got paid well for this drip. The royal family's last name is Mountbatten Windsor. Why doesn't she know this? On and on it goes. No real questions were asked of her, points out Birdie RN, just replaying her old stories again. And what started off as a few score of favourable photographs is now being completely taken over by the fact that it's criticism after criticism, identifying her hypocrisies, pointing out as a PR puff piece, identifying her lies. Once again, the people have spoken. They have come to another publication involving this one's wife. And go and have a look for yourself. If you want to go and look at the comments and have a good laugh, there are 2,300 now. And scrolling through them as I'm talking to you now, I'm still not now seeing any favourable comments. On and on it goes, demonstrating that so many people see through her. Interestingly, when it was at 65,000 views, there were only 2,000 likes and 22,000 dislikes. I'm sure that someone will be able to use the software to demonstrate just how many dislikes it has risen to. But she made a good start with puff piece supporters giving her favourable observations, but it didn't take long before the people have come. And they have come, and they have spoken, and once again, they criticise the vocal fry and the Californian upspeak, that they talk about her inauthenticity, her robotic grifting ways, that finding now a favourable comment is really problematic. Oh, I found one. Brilliant new series. And great interview. I love the blue and gold outfits. But then back to problematic comments again. She's a world-class lying hypocrite. You'd be hard-pressed to find a less authentic human anywhere on the earth than old Meg Z. And someone points out she wouldn't share sales numbers. Wonder why. Have a look and you'll see that the vast majority are criticisms of this one's wife, which demonstrates once again that no matter what she does, so many people see through her. And it's not haters. There is nobody making gratuitous, unpleasant comments. They are commenting on what you see on the screen. A vacuous woman who trots out word salad, who is lazy, who is entitled, who thinks that she's really special and brilliant, that just talks about the same things over and over again because she is dull and boring and empty. A self-absorbed narcissist who gets called out time and time again. It's not by haters, it's by ordinary people who do not like her because she is a liar and a bullshitter and a narcissist. She tries to convince the world through these PR puff pieces that she's this wonderful person, and once again it backfires because she's never going to be able to turn this ship around because she's overexposed and people know what she is. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.